Now the words that I manifest, I manifest. Stick to the words that I manifest.
You can't do what was done to us and just forget about it and have it go unpunished. Because we see how we are today. And this is, I don't believe, who we were before we were conquered and invaded and scattered throughout the earth and destroyed as a people.
Right.
So it disturbs me when I hear black people say things like, slavery happened a long time ago. This happened a long time ago. What about those 4 black girls that died in that Baptist church? When you walk into a black church, you don't even see pictures of those 4 black girls.
But you see the little Caucasian Jesus. I'm not trying
amongst others. But I'm just saying, none of these so-called black churches even want to talk about those 4 black girls. I don't even think most black people remember their names. These girls were blown to bits down in a basement of a church, praying because of what they had been taught by their parents, that Jesus is their Lord and Savior. Those 4 black girls, to the best of my knowledge, don't even have a memorial.
Right.
Those are our 4 black angels, but we don't see them that way.
Now that you brought it up, no, I'm guilty of this too. So thanks for bringing it to my attention and everybody else's. I will also add a link to that story into the description box for folks who listen to the archive.
And while I'm on it, Tracy, just real quick, I just want to mention their names because I like to mention their names when I can remember their names. Annie Mae Collins, Denise McNair, I think Carol Robertson, Cynthia Wesley. Black people should know who these girls are.
Yes, we should.
That's all. And we don't know. And I, too, was once amongst that rank as well. You know, I, too, was once among that rank as well. And I still sometimes struggle with those names, but I keep a picture of those 4 little black girls on my cell phone.
Right.
Because I'm not going to forget what happened to them. I'm not going to forget what happened to them. It's just as I'm not going to forget what happened to us. I don't care how long ago it was.
Well, the thing about it is the same people who do mention that don't realize that these very same things are being done as now, but being done in a different the tools are basically the same. The scenario might be the same. We may not be in slavery, but we're basically still on the plantation, and they don't see that. They don't see that things are being done to us now because it seems like folks, we don't see things when they're being done to us. We only see them after the fact. I saw a quote by Harriet Tubman not too long ago, maybe a few months back, about I hope I don't misquote it, but she said something about she would have been able to free more slaves if they had known that they were slaves. Well, that same mindset is still today. We don't know, a lot of folks don't know we are in the problems, or we have the problems that we have today, which is why we can't save them. Or they don't want to be saved because they don't think there's a problem. And just as Harriet Tubman said, you know, centuries ago or decades and centuries ago, the same thing. They didn't know that they were slaves. They thought
Right.
this is how they were supposed to live, and this was the order of things, and they didn't see nothing wrong with these white folks or, you know, the Gentile Caucasians being in the hierarchy, so to speak, and they're down on the bottom taking care of these people and being treated like animals. They didn't think nothing was wrong with it, just like the folks now. It's like the Christians, you can't tell them, look, this is phony. You can't, you know.
Right.
They don't know. They don't believe that they're still slaves, basically. So that they're being brainwashed.
Right.
They don't.
Well, no, I understand they don't say it that way, but and that's why I want people to get the information, study the information, believe what you heard, and go out and tell other black people.
Right.
So that maybe we can start healing some of our many problems, one of which we don't like each other too much. But as long as we still think that these people like us, I don't think we'll ever get the motivation to say, well, you know, hey, we all we got.
I hear you.
No other group of people seems to like us, thanks to what they've done to us. No other group of people really wants to be bothered with us. They don't mind borrowing aspects of our so-called culture, i.e. music and, you know, entertainment, watching us run with a football.
Right.
But when it comes time to do something serious, they don't invite us to the table.
We don't see that, which is one of the reasons why I said on a different show that, quote, good white person is very dangerous.
I don't know who's saying that.
Well, you got a whole lot of folks, and I hear a lot of women saying it more than men, but we have a lot of black folks who think that there are good white people. I'm like, they might be nice, they might be a little courteous, they might be generous, but they are taught that white people are very hospitable folks. You have people who don't understand this. And
right. Well, you know,
I don't hate them because they don't understand, but it drives my patience because I keep trying to explain this and they don't see it. So maybe one day they will. But
and as long as they think Jesus is Lord, Tracy, as long as they think Jesus is Lord, they're not going to see that.
Well, some of these folks don't believe in Jesus. They are they're in the quote black conscious community or consciousness period, and they still don't see that there aren't, you know, that these people are being placed as ammo, or they're being used as tools by the hierarchy, so to speak, of their people. And we don't see that. You got a lot of folks who really don't see it. And then you have a lot of spiritual people mainly who don't see it. I mean, I'm not trying to knock my brothers and sisters who are very spiritual. I consider myself to be, but I know how to separate, you know, my spiritual from my physical plane. And they think that they only live in the spiritual plane. They don't think that the physical plane is needed because they believe that they won't be affected by anything that, you know, is being done to us if they elevate and keep, you know, to go to a particular status, so to speak, when it comes to they call it Kundalini and all this other stuff, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. They don't think that they'll be affected by what white folks do. I don't get it. I'm like, the fact that you ain't got no job right now is
right. And you know what, Tracy? Let me make this
and
statement.
They don't see that. They don't see it.
I know, but let me make this statement because I think this statement needs to be made as well. Because I think people will hear us and think that they're supposed to walk around now calling, you know, the Gentiles crackers or
no, you don't have to do that.
Devils, all this other. You know what I mean? It's not about that. It's just about identifying that you are behind enemy lines,
right?
And you should be governing yourself accordingly. Not you sitting with the warden having coffee and tea, thinking you're not in prison no more.
Basically, that's what it is. That's a good analogy. I like that. It's the truth.
It's the truth.
Right.
They put you in prison, and because the warden said you can come up and have lunch in the cafeteria with him, you think he's cool.
That goes to that mental illness thing again.
Exactly.
I don't know what it is. Yeah.
So this is right. So this is not about cussing them out or showing all that, angst against them. This is simply about acknowledging the truth and then governing yourselves accordingly.
Exactly.
You are not going to be able to build a lasting enterprise or institution with your enemies. How are you going to do that?
I say that
I've been at meetings. I've been at meetings, and there'll be one or two Gentiles in the room, right? I'll leave. Nope, I already know. We're not going to get nothing solved with them in the room.
Because folks are going to beat around the bush with what they're saying. They're not going to keep it real, and et cetera. I understand.
And they're there to report. It's obvious why they're sitting there. You know what I mean?
And that's what they do. And even on BTR, on the Internet, they do the same thing, which is why we have groups of them going around. It may be 50 to 100 of them who will plug up our phone lines. They will go in our chat rooms and do their little stupid stuff to cause distraction. And it's sad that they're doing it, but they are doing it. They are listening. We're not listening to them. We're not invited to their things. We're not. These platforms on the radio, I know they're public information, but they're basically just to get us together so we can have our private platforms, and which we need. We do not need to air everything on the radio. They do not.
No, I agree.
They get together and then they, have their private meetings. Exactly. So we need to be doing the same thing. But for some reason, there's a lot of stardom going on in our community, and it makes me scratch my temple on it because I don't get it. I'm like, what's with all this, this need for stardom on a little, our platforms are so small here. You get what I'm saying. I don't have to keep on, but I just wish that I could see more. And I'm not saying that there aren't folks who are getting together. There are many and plenty, and I do know. But I just don't see enough is what I'm saying in certain areas. So, and then maybe I'm not being involved enough as I should be. So I'm not going to, sit up here and say that. But, yeah, go ahead.
These are the words that I manifest. I manifest.